Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Carla Palmer Show. So happy to have you guys with us today. We have a really great show planned for you. So we're just waiting for some people to come into the room. You guys make sure you please invite and share with your network so that people can join the show and get a look at our guest today. We have a special guest. His name is Mario Choice. Mario's here in the screen with me. Hi, Mario. Thank you for joining. So I want to give people an opportunity to come in. And so let's just give it just a second so that people can get their people in the room, and then we'll start the show momentarily. Mario, how are you?
I'm doing well today. How you doing, Miss Carla?
I'm doing good. I went to a networking event today, so I'm kind of like a little bit behind. I got kind of caught off a little bit. Hi, Robert McKenzie. Thank you for joining. So glad to have you here in the room. Please invite and share. Marilyn, hi, welcome to the show.
What's up, Big Rob?
So glad to have you here. So if you guys would invite and share with your network, that would be awesome. We'd really appreciate it. Again, we have a guest, Mario Choice, and I will introduce him in just a second here. My name is Carla Palmer. I am also known as Miss GYSB. Yes, people know me as Miss GYSB, and GYSB stands for Get Your Sexy Back. It is a balanced approach to living your absolute best life, focusing on your mind, body, and spirit. So the Carla Palmer Show is just a spinoff of my movement. I started the movement about 9 years ago when I was successful with weight loss, and started broadcasting live about weight loss and healthy living. And I decided to do the Carla Palmer Show because I thought it was a nice extension of what it is that I'm trying to do, which is to help people reach optimal wellness. And it's really interesting that we have Mario on with us today because Mario is the person who got me to start broadcasting live. So it's really great to come full circle, and I'm happy to have him on the show today. So again, thank you guys for joining. I see we have Arana in the room, Marilyn, Robert, and a couple other people. Thank you guys for joining. So I'm going to get right to it. I appreciate the invites. I appreciate your shares. I want to tell you a little bit about our guest today. Our guest today is Mario Choice. Mario Choice is a native of Fort Worth, Texas, residing in Oklahoma for 23 plus years. He holds an Associate's Applied Science in Criminal Justice, a bachelor's degree from Langston University in Criminal Justice, and a master's degree in Urban Education from Langston University, Tulsa. For the past 25 years, Mario has motivated and inspired young people. He has worked with various group homes, juvenile facilities, shelters, hospitals, and schools. And he has served as the Director of Education and Youth Programs at the Metropolitan Tulsa Urban League and as an academic advisor and adjunct professor at Tulsa Community College. He was an assistant principal, athletic director, head of basketball and track coach, and also served as youth pastor for 4 years. As a motivational speaker, Mario uses humor, transparency, and applicable principles to take students on a journey through his own life story. As a normal kid who struggled with peer pressure, alcohol, drugs, depression, and bullying, he speaks to students about his personal struggles and mistakes in hopes that it will help them avoid pitfalls that could derail their lives. Mario, I said a mouthful.
You did. I hope I can back all that up.
Okay, you better be able to back all of that up. We're so happy to have you with us today. Thank you for your time. I see that you're a very busy guy. And like I was saying before, you're the one who got me into live streaming. You know, what is that, like 3 or 4 years ago? You asked me, did I know what Periscope was? And I was like, I don't know what that is. And you said, well, you need to figure it out because I think you would be great. And here we are, 3 or 4 years later, and I'm doing my own show. So.
Yeah. And that's funny you say that because you went to Periscope and then you wound up having more followers than me. I was a little bit salty. I was like, she got more followers than me. I'm getting off Periscope. I quit. So, but no, woman of God, you're a natural and you give some good information. It didn't surprise me that you were going to have that many followers and more to come. I know this is just the beginning, that you'll be sitting in someone's studio with cameras around you, getting all the makeup on and everything and getting ready for the show.
I hope so. That is what I look forward to. But getting to what we're talking about today. I really wanted to have you on, Mario, because you are such an inspiration. You're not only an inspiration to me, you're an inspiration to young people and even our peers. You know, people follow you, they laugh with you, and they really appreciate the transparency that you exhibit in telling your story, and really hopes to really inspire other people to overcome, you know, the different challenges that they're going through. So what is it that you do for a living? Like, let's start there.
Well, right now I need a job. No, I'm joking with you. I'm actually, I have a job that I'm working at in Arlington, but my passion and my occupation is the radio. I have my own show, A Few Choice Words. Also, I'm on XM Radio every Tuesday and Thursday. On XM 167 from 7 p.m. Central Time, where I'm the co-host with Shay Owens and Cartina Jackson with a show called Relationship Restoration and Relationship. And so that is what I do. I've been going to different schools around here in Texas and some more on the way out of state that people have been watching me and saying, okay, we want you to come speak to our kids. And one of the things that the teachers like, and also the principals and the people that invite me, is the transparency. Yeah, I do make them laugh, but it's the transparency in which I talk to them about, and they're kind of quiet. Like, actually, the last school I went to, the lady said she'd never seen the kids that quiet before. Wow. When someone comes in, and it was my old middle school, and my old middle school was off the chain. So, and so I love them to death, and I appreciate that person that hooked me up, Ms. Marsha. I thank you so much. But that's what I do. I'm a motivational speaker. I actually don't like the term motivational. I say inspirational. I think inspirational is more inside, motivational is more outside. Okay. You know, I'd rather inspire you, because if I inspire you once, I probably don't have to deal with you. I think motivation has to keep coming over and over again. But if I inspire you, then that's enough to keep you going for a while. So all
right. So, you know, let's just get to the nitty gritty of this. One of the things that I really appreciate about you, like I was saying before, is that you are very transparent. You've been married, you're not married anymore.
Not married anymore.
Been homeless, you know.
Yeah, been homeless. Yeah.
And I wanted to bring you on and really have you talk a little bit. You don't have to get all into the weeds about it, but just a little bit about that, just to share with others some of the things that you've been through and the ways that you have overcome those challenges. Because I think at the time that we live in right now, people need a little bit of inspiration. And because you're an inspiration to me, I felt like you would really be able to inspire some other people. So can we talk a little bit about, you know, being married and that not working out? I mean, the divorce rate is really high in this country. So it's not like some shock that, you know, maybe a marriage doesn't work out. But can we talk a little bit about that?
Well, I will say this. When I was called to ministry, I'm 44 now. I was called to ministry. I was about 27. Okay. It really rocked my world. I really didn't believe that God would use me in that sense of a pastor. You know, I've been speaking to kids and speaking to different people since I was 18 years old, but I never thought that would happen. And so without getting too much detail, when that happened, it rocked my world, and I handled a lot of things immaturely. When in my marriage, I didn't put a lot of things first because I was just so overwhelmed with this call of God. And of course, God is not a person who's going to mess up your marriage or anything like that. But I was just very immature, and that led to a lot of frustration, and then which led to divorce, you know. And so when that happened, when that led to divorce, I had to, you know, rearrange my finances. I have a book that I'm writing, and it's coming out, and it's called Irresponsible. And what happened is, I believe God allowed a lot of things to happen to me because a lot of us live moment to moment, second to second. Yeah. That a lot of things just came on me financially. I had my first car repossessed. I bought my first house when I was 25. Never had a car repossessed. Here I am, I'm 40 years old, 39 going on 40, get my first car repossessed. I get evicted for the first time ever. Never had no problems with any of these things, but it was because of irresponsibility. I had to take the blunt of it as a man, just as a person, period, that these are some of the things that I did wrong. Well, as a result of that, I wound up finding myself sleeping on different friends' couches. I slept in the church. I even slept in my job several times. Where, you know, I know y'all thinking I got up and went to the gym and showered. Don't even be tripping. They're like, she got an old funky guest on this show. No, I went showered. I had a bag, went to my gym and washed up. So don't be tripping. So I know how y'all think. They right now there. He ain't washed up. No, yes, I did. I washed up, and I even had an iron in my office and everything. So anyway. And so I had to live out my storage. I had to go get my storage. I didn't want to place it at my friend's house. And so I kept it in storage. I had to go every morning. So some morning it was freezing cold. I had to go in my storage and get clothes and go to the shower. And I did this for months. And then God had to humble me.
Okay.
I have, 3 degrees, almost 4, one in ministry. And so I was very arrogant. I said, somebody gonna give me a job. And so before I became assistant principal at Langston High School, no one called me. I filled over 300 applications. Nobody.
Wow.
I was laid off from TCC because of I was a professor and I was the youngest professor. And anything about college is based on enrollment. And so they laid me off and I didn't find a job for almost 8 months. And so I had to get on welfare. I had to, file for unemployment. One of the most embarrassing things, you from Oklahoma, you got that car. They got, I think it's Will Rogers on the front of it. It's brown.
Yeah.
I dropped it in the parking lot and one of my members of the church found it. And they was like, Pastor Mario, here you go. And a part of me want to say, no, that's a different Mario choice.
That's not mine.
That ain't my card. That's the other Mario over there. You see, look. Yeah. And so I laugh at it now, but it was tears rolling down my face. And the person that actually found it, he actually kept it a secret. But everybody knew I was struggling. I joke about this. I didn't have a car. I had to borrow my friend's car. It was a Fiat. Okay, y'all might say, there's nothing wrong with that. Well, I'm 6'2" and I weigh 260 pounds.
Yeah. I
was literally sitting in the back seat of the car. Oh man, it looked like I was riding in a football helmet. And I had to turn around, and I mean, you might it made that noise like a moped. And my daughters would just laugh. They was like, Dad, it's okay. I'm like, stop saying it's okay, they're okay. And so, and I went through that, but the part that really got me, the homelessness part, because, you're 25 years old, you buy a 2-story house, 2,700 square foot. My head was, big as I'll get out, and so, yeah, it was huge, and so when that happened, God had to reveal me because it was a little bit of self-infliction. There was some things I should have did differently. Yeah. But this is what I tell people. I said, if you have 2 people in an emergency room, one shot himself in the foot, and the other one got shot in the foot, the doctor gives them the same medicine because they have the same pain. Right. And if it's self-inflicted or not, it's still pain. Right. And God used that to make me better. I went through a lot. I don't want to give too much on it, but yeah, the homelessness was just, that's why right now, if I see a homeless person on the street, I give them a quarter, I give them $1. I don't care if they're going to go smoke it. I don't care if they're going to go get it. I give it to them. I even give them food. I take it to them all the time. When I was in Tulsa, you're familiar with 21st, and I think that's Garden, where a lot of the people, transients, they kind of congregate there. And even here in Fort Worth and Arlington, I try to find people, and that's part of my ministry. I said, well, God, you allowed me to go through it to help people, and so that's what I do. But homelessness was really tough for me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. I mean, I appreciate that. I think a lot of people try to hide some of the challenges that they go through in life because they feel like it's embarrassing. But, if you shine your light, you let people know, like, some of the things that you're going through, like, it's relatable because a lot of us have been at where you were. Okay. Yeah. So, we had, this little dialogue over email, about the kinds of things that we would talk about. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, like, what is the one thing that people have to do in life, and why is it important to do that one thing? The one thing that people have to do in life, find out why you're here. Okay. We're not just here to work a job, on vacation, and die. That's just not why you're here for a purpose. Now, a lot of us, we're working jobs because we have to support a family, and we're very mature, and we're trying to take care of our family. We just can't just quit our job and say this is what we're going to do. Right. I always tell the millennials, especially ones 18, 19, 20, find out why you're here. Attack it, and then when you attack it, you start operating in it, and life becomes a little bit more easier. What I mean by that, when you're operating in something that you love to do, which God has placed in you, and things around you start to go crazy, then going to doing what you're doing is somewhat of a peace. However, when life does get crazy, because it will, and things happen, parents die, grandparents die, people get sick, diagnosis of cancer, car wrecks, all types of stuff, house, all the stuff that's going on in California with the houses burning down and everything. Yeah. And so life happens. But if you can find that peace in what you do, it helps just a little bit. And so that one thing that everyone has to do, they have to find out why they're here. One of the reasons why I made a lot of mistakes, and like I said, I'm one of those people, I don't blame anyone. A lot of mistakes that I made because I was searching so much for why do you have me here? Why am I here, God? And in the midst of that, I made immature decisions. I made decisions that hurt myself, that hurt other people, because I was just reaching and trying to find out, God, why did you put me here? And I was very immature in trying to do it. And I believe God was trying to show me, and I was a little bit impatient myself. I was doing all type of stuff. I ran for city council. That dude beat the mess out of me. But anyway, he beat the mess out of me. And so, but then as I started to go through, God is faithful. He started to show me, but however, I tell people all the time, you make decisions and there are going to be consequences to those decisions. God will still use you. He will still show you, but you got to deal with some of those consequences. One of those things was financially. One of those things was domestically. One of those things were, occupationally, where I had an idea. Now I'm called to speak to people and I can talk to kids. I've been talking to them for 25 years. However, God said, I want you in a different capacity. And I seen that. And I lacked a little bit of faith when I seen it about 4 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago. And I used to talk all the time to my friends. They said, man, you just need to step out there. I said, man, I can't. And I said, God, if you want me to step out there, make it to where I have to. And he did that. And that did not feel good. Let me tell you that. I said, shut every door.
Woo.
And okay, that sounds like a good prayer, man. Like you get some good offering after. But when you going through that, man, that hurt. I said, hold on now. I didn't say that. I thought maybe,
I take it back. I don't want you to shut every door. Never mind.
I was like, well, maybe you just need to just let it fall from heaven. I don't need all these other obstacles and stuff. And stuff. I said, I don't need for this to happen. And I can laugh about it now, but you're talking about nights of crying. And I'm just, like I said, be transparent because I believe this will help somebody. Nights of, should I even be on this earth? Without saying too much. You know what I'm saying when I say that. Should I even be here? But when I think what made me really push was my five kids, my 2 boys, my 3 daughters. I look at their eyes. I remember I see their pictures on my phone, and that's what pushed me to keep going because I didn't want to disappoint them any longer. I believe there was some disappointment from them saying, they always see me a certain way. And to see me on my knees like that and see me not praying, but on my knees as like, my life is just going this downward spiral. I don't know what's going on. That hurt my children. All 5 of them. I did. And they had to see it. I hope they learned from it. I try to talk to them about it often, especially my sons. They're 24 and 21. Lord, I'm old. But anyway, yeah. And I had to really, speak to them about this. But, going back to your original question, you got to find your purpose. You have to. It's almost, you have to. It's urgent that you find out what you're supposed to do in this earth. It will give you peace when everything around you is chaotic.
So my question to you is, a lot of people always say that find your purpose, find why you're here. What are you called to do? Mario, how do you figure that out? You know what I'm saying? Like people are like 50 years old, 35, 40. They don't know what their purpose is. And so they're kind of going through the motions. They're working a job. They're getting money to survive, but they're not really feeling it inside that that's what they're supposed to be doing. How do you find your purpose? Like, what would you suggest for people to start on that journey of finding what their purpose is?
I would say for me, I'm spiritual. I believe in Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I know we have other people that probably join the broadcast. It could be atheists, that could be Muslim. But I would say for me, this is what I did. I had to get back in the face of God and ask God, why am I here? Mm-hmm. And I had to be very attentive and I had to really research and I had to list and do the work. I had to write down what do you like to do? Okay. What I like to do? What am I passionate about? What are the things that I do with ease? Because that's your gift. I had a lot of talents and that's what fools a lot of us because some of us are very talented. Right. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm kind of talented, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, and so I can coach basketball. I can coach track. I played those sports. I can coach baseball. I can be an athletic director. I know how to budget. I know how to manage people. But that's not why I was called. I was assistant principal because I know about policy and procedure. But I wasn't placed here for that. That was a gift. Right. A talent. But my gift, God had to actually let me go through some things to see what my gift is. That is to inspire people to live their best life, no matter who. And I'm called to, I believe, a lot of people, but definitely young boys and men, especially of those. I'm also called to men that are hurting, men that are hurting because of bad decisions, men are just hurting, period. Because I found out when I speak, a lot of them come talk to me later on and say, you know, man, I like what you said. I'm going through the same thing as a father, as a husband, as an ex-husband, trying to, you know, raise my kids. And so I had to get back in the face of God and say, God, why am I here? And through a series of trials, these are not self-inflicted, but through a series of trials and tribulations, I started to understand why I was here. Now,
Okay.
when that happened, I was like, okay, I didn't know you was gonna do this like this. You know, I'm like, okay, this was tough, but I was able to find it. I think a lot of people think it's gonna drop from the sky.
Yeah.
God, I'm called to be entrepreneur, and it just falls from the sky. No, you might lose your job and have to become an entrepreneur as a result, and then you want to find out that you like it.
Right.
Or you might start a show, even though you don't like talking on camera. Hello, Carla Palmer. So
Yes. Yes. I know. Remember how scared I was?
he was like, I can't do that. I was like, yes, you can.
Remember? Oh my gosh. Just an aside. So do you remember when you were like, okay, do a Periscope, do a broadcast. You just got to hit the start button. And I hit it and nobody came in there. And I was like, Mario, I can't do it. I don't feel like I look pretty. My alopecia, because I have this hair loss thing. Remember, I told you all of these things.
Yeah.
And you were like, girl, if you don't stop this foolishness, you better get back on that. Try it one more time. I'll come in and I'll support you. And I remember you told me that, and I did it, and I loved it, you know, and it just got better and better. And now I've got my own show, and it, you know, I give you a lot of credit for that, and I appreciate that so much. So it's exactly what you're saying. It's exactly what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah, and I give God all the glory. Just that like-minded people kind of migrate each other. And we're kind of like-minded in that sense that I had to step out on faith. And so I tell you something real funny. I told you to get on Periscope, and I stopped getting on. I think you texted me and said, why you ain't got on Periscope? I said, well, I've been busy. So I think it's about 2 months later. I get on your Periscope. I said, you got 20,000 followers. I still had about like 800. I was like, what? Then I look back again. It's like 500,000. I'm like, what is this?
No, those were the hearts.
Oh, the hearts. Okay, yeah, okay, the hearts. But you had a lot of followers. I've seen all those. Next time I know you're in 1 million hearts. If people know about Periscope, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I'm not getting back on there now. Nope, I can't. I'm too far behind. That's a race I can't catch up with.
Hilarious. That is hilarious. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so, but you're doing very well. Like I said, this is just the beginning right here. That's why I said, shoot, I'm gonna be on this broadcast with Carla, because shoot, I'm trying to be in that living room in LA. Wherever she have the show at. Was it Paramount Studios? That's what it called.
Okay, exactly. That's what's gonna happen. So, Mario, how would you summarize your life right now, like up to this point?
Irresponsible to responsible.
Okay.
Irresponsible with what God gifted me with. Irresponsible with some of the people that He placed around me. Some people I should have got rid of. Some people I should have kept. And, you know, and so now I'm responsible, and I'm understanding what God has given me is not for me, it's for my children, of course, but for other people to get. I didn't have that understanding. Okay. People don't like to say this, but I was a little bit arrogant. I was arrogant in the sense of not in the way I look or the way I talk.
Yeah.
But in what I achieved, because I worked very hard to get my master's degree and all these degrees, went through a lot of stuff in college, you know, and had to bust my tail. But it got to my head, and God had to tell me that it's not because of this degree, it's because what I'm going to give you. Okay. And then the degree is the resource. I'm the source. The degree is the resource.
Yeah.
And I had to go through it. And so I would tell people that I had to go from irresponsible to responsible. Mm-hmm. And so my message is to anyone that's been irresponsible, that has not utilized everything God has given them, that have dropped the ball in certain areas of their life, it is not over. Pick up, get up. If you need to apologize to someone, apologize to that person. If you need to reconcile with somebody, reconcile with that person, and push forward. Push forward. That's what I got to do. And that's what I would tell people. And sum it up my life. That's what my life is now, from irresponsible to responsible. Now I'm seeing God's manifestation in my life in huge ways. I got some huge news coming up, but I'm not going to announce it right now.
Don't do it. Don't do it here.
Yeah, I'm not going to announce it right now, but I am later.
Awesome.
You hear me?
You said you what?
I'm not going to announce it right now. I'll do it later.
No, don't do it here. Yeah, do it later. Do it later. So I want to invite people to ask questions. We have about 12 more minutes for the show. So I want to invite people now. If you have any questions, please ask. I will put your questions on the screen for Mario. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for your questions, I want to ask Mario, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 years.
It's like an interview, like a real interview.
There you go. On your show.
Okay.
And everything while you sitting beside Idris Elba, your husband, and everything. So
he's already married. We can't be that. Can't be
yeah. Idris, we can find somebody else and see who.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll find somebody anyway. And so I plan on being married, my kids, a home, but professionally to be able to have my own talk show just like yourself. To be able to talk to people and inspire people and go around the nation. And this is what I want to do. I've asked God to send me to every school that people have given up on.
Okay.
Middle school. I don't want to go to a school where it's very rich and wealthy. I don't have a problem. They pay good anyway. But anyway,
yeah.
I don't mind going. But every school where kids are like forgotten about and high poverty, high crime rate, send me. I love to go to those schools. I grew up in those schools in Fort Worth, Texas. And so I would just love to go to those places. I want to go around to every impoverished area. Take me to Compton, Watts, Chicago, West Side Chicago, Birmingham, Alabama. I want to go to those places. I want to just speak to the people, whether it's through a church, anywhere. That's my heart, because I love hurting people because I was a hurt person.
Right.
I know what that's like. I'm not a victim. I'm a victor, but I do believe in personal responsibility. And that's one of the things I plan on teaching. Because I believe a lot of times we blame a lot of people for stuff. My mama did this, my dad did that, and that stuff can be true.
Right.
But you can't move forward until you start taking personal responsibility for things that you've done. It might be as a result of things that happened to you that gave you a different mindset, a wrong mindset. However, you take personal responsibility, then you go back and address those things that hurt you.
Yeah.
A lot of people try to address the things that hurt them, then take personal responsibility. No, change your behavior, because if your mama beat you when you was a kid, and now you can't stand women and you always in domestic violence, you're going to be in jail. So you got to address personal responsibility first.
Yeah.
Then you back and address what happened with you and your mama.
Yeah.
Or your daddy. Or my daddy's not in my life. And so as a result, I keep dating these same men, keep getting hurt. Okay, take personal responsibility, then address that issue with you and your father.
Wow.
And so that's what I want.
Marilyn has a question, and her question is, are you pastoring a church now?
Girl, no. I'm sorry. No, Merlin, I don't mean it like, yes, I did. But anyway, Merlin, I know I'm not pastoring a church. I'm a member of a church here in Arlington, Texas, Destiny Point Christian Center. And my pastor, Pastor Dr. Renee Hornbuckle, has a testimony out of this world. When you'll go look it up on the internet and you'll see it. She is an awesome woman. She is a woman that believes, and the church believes in restoring and healing people. And so God sent me to the right church because she has a healing and restoration ministry where you can come and get healed. And when you read up about her and what she went through early in her marriage, you're going to say, oh, this is what he's talking about. I won't get into it right now. But if you got a chance, follow her on Facebook, on Instagram. It's Dr. Renee Fowler, Fowler Hornbuckle. Dr. Renee Fowler Hornbuckle.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm not passing no church. Don't put that on me, Marilyn. Better stop that now. Shoot. I've been through enough.
So we have Arana. She has a question, and she says, when you were going through your trials, did you ever blame God for letting you go through your tribulations?
Yes, I sure did. Is it Ariana? I sure did. I blame God. And I even said some stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was in my car one day because I was actually sleeping in my car that day. And I was blaming God. And I really thought I had sufficient evidence to blame him. and I was like, yeah, this is your. And after him giving me grace and mercy and not making me fall down to my knees, I really looked at it and he said, son, you have free will.
Uh-huh.
Look at some of the decisions that you made, good or bad. I was always there with you. I always was prompting you to do this or prompting you to. Sometimes you would just ignore me, and I had to look back on that, and that really cut to the core.
Mm.
Man, I did make that decision with that money. I did make that decision to, stay at this place and not move around. And I did make the decision not to go this route, and it was right there in front of me.
Yeah.
And so after that, Ariana, I really understood that it was my free will, and God loves us so much, He gives us free will.
Yeah.
Did prompt me to go in the right direction. And then a lot of times I was in the church, and a lot of people don't like to talk about this. I was in the church, but turned my back on God. I don't know how that worked.
I don't know
That's
how
crazy.
that works with it. What does that look like, Mario?
I tell people they're in church, but you're not doing anything to edify yourself or edify other people because you're so hurt or you're so bitter.
Mm.
You just like a piece of furniture. You know, it became routine, what we call religious, because
Yeah.
that's what people required of you. So you start going to church, really doubting some of the principles that people are actually reading. And then also God will allow you to preach and you don't believe anything you're saying. He just will use you. It's two things I tell people: used by God and used of God.
Mm.
Used by God meaning that, you might not be right, but I got to get some stuff through you, and I'll deal with you later. Totally. It's part of me. I was used by God. Now I'm being used of God. And
Okay.
so, but like I said, people don't like saying that because they don't like telling the truth. I like what you said, and I'm gonna use that too. I'm instead a transparent storyteller. That's part of my resume now.
There you go.
Yeah, and so I would tell her, yeah, I did go through that. I did blame God. Then when the stuff happened, like my sister got cancer, breast cancer right at the time. My mom died at 7 of lupus, and my sisters raised me. One of them passed, but I have 2 left, and they
Okay.
raised me. And so when she got cancer, I really was upset because it was right during that time. She actually told me, and I was actually sleeping on my friend's couch. And I kind of raised up, and he kind of looked at me, and I was like, man, my sister got cancer. And of course, she beat it, but that devastated me because she wasn't my mom, but when my mom died, I was with both of them. They were
Yeah.
dragging me everywhere. They were taking me to my games and making sure that even through college, sending me care packages and everything. And they're just 7 years older than me. One is
Yeah.
9 years, one is 7. And so when that happened, I was really upset with God. I was like, okay, this too much. You take my sister. I'll be honest with you, Ariana. I was like, if you take my sister, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not. There's no way I'm going to do this at this time. And I was just angry. I was
Yeah.
angry. And I actually talked to her, and she gave me strength because she's just a strong woman. It's my sister Angela.
Okay.
And she and so but when that happened, that really just hurt me to my core. And I didn't want to show her because I knew that it would be difficult for her to go to her treatment knowing that I was hurting because I didn't know her faith, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mario, we have a couple more minutes left. We have about 4 minutes left. Again, I want to invite people to ask questions. If you have any questions, please put them on the screen now, and I will ask Mario those questions for you and put your question on the screen as well. Mario, what is it that you're working on right now? Is there a way people can get in touch with you, follow you, some of your social media platforms? Please let us know so that we can get people on board with whatever you're doing right now. If they want to work with you, invite you to speak, let them know.
Okay, well, you can. I have a show right now called A Few Choice Words at the After Party Radio. You can look at it live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. As every Tuesday, I bring in guests and A Few Choice Words where I let people talk about whatever they want to talk about, things they've been through, and they also talk about their profession and how they got to that point. And I bring those people on every Tuesday, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can also go through the afterpartyradio.com, select the B side, and you'll see the Few Choice Words. You can click on it.
Okay.
Also, you can find me on Instagram of I am Mario Choice. On Facebook, Mario Choice. I'm actually going around. People have been calling me and emailing me to come speak at their schools. I'm trying to figure out all this stuff. It's coming quick and it's coming fast. And I'm like, oh, my goodness.
That's how it happens.
People been, yeah, and so I'm just very grateful. It's not me. It's definitely God using me to do His will. But the After Party Radio. What else am I doing? Like I said, I'm working on my book, Irresponsible. I'm working on that book right there. Also, if you just want to send me some money, I got a cash app. It's Mario B. Choice. I'm joking, but still. So hey, you have not because you asked not. And so, I'm also on XM Radio
Okay.
every Thursday. That's 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. on XM Radio called the R&R Show with my host. Her name is Shay Owens. I'm the co-host, Mario Choice.
What's it called?
R&R.
R&R.
R&R. You know I'm country caller. You know I don't say my R's like y'all.
Okay.
You country too, but you just got real funny like.
So it's XM Radio, the R&R Show, correct?
Yeah, relationship and restoration.
Okay.
It's with Shay Owens and with Cartina Jackson. Lovely. It's Shay Owens' show, and we have a good time. That's 7 p.m. Central. XM Sirius Radio 167 on Thursdays. We have a.
So we have one more question. Arana has another question, and she wants to know: have you ever spoken in Georgia?
Yes, I did. I spoke at a homeless shelter.
Oh.
About 2 summers ago, and then I spoke at 2 places: a homeless shelter and also a boys' juvenile facility. And if she's from Georgia.
She lives in Georgia. Yeah, she's from Oklahoma. I that's like my childhood friend. We grew up in church together.
Okay.
But I think she currently lives in Georgia.
Yeah, I went to Georgia, and it's a funny thing that, they have that different dialect. I'm country, but they have this like Southern dialect. And I remember this kid came up to me afterwards, and he was like, "Hey, there, man, I tell you that, man, I tell you what I got to do that, though, shorty, man. I tell you, man, I ain't trying to do all this stuff no more, man. I'm telling you, I'm trying to get up out these streets, man. These streets been calling your boy out." I was like, "What did he just say?" And so they have a different dialect, but I had a good time. They were very hospitable. I have my friend up there right now. He's up there and he's actually putting together something right now for me to come back. But I spoke at a juvenile facility and a homeless shelter up there for women. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're well received when you go and speak just because of the things that you've been through yourself?
Well, when people first see me, because I'm just not known like that, they kind of look at me like skeptical, like I would. Like, okay, what is he going to say?
Right.
And then after I speak after a little while, they start to loosen up, where if it's adults or teenagers or college students, they start to loosen up after a while. After I start talking to them, they see them down there. Sometimes when people say Pastor Mario, people already get this vision of what I'm finna do. I'm finna get up there and say, the Lord said that if you're sinning, you're going. And I get up there and start ragging on them and talking about it. They're like, man, what kind of pastor is you?
Right.
I'm one that's spiritual, not religious. But I'm serious when I need to be serious. And part of my personality is just joking and having a good time, especially when you went through all the hell I went through. I think it's okay for me to have a little piece of heaven.
Just a little bit. I think it's okay. So we're at closing time. Doesn't look like there are any more questions. I want to know if you have anything to close with, if you'd like to add anything that we didn't talk about, any kind of like parting words that you want to leave. It's time to do it this right now. Okay.
I seen somebody say when I left Oklahoma that I have an idea what things will be going the way they are now. No.
Got it. I forgot about it.
Yeah, I had no idea that things would be going the way that they're going right now. I stepped out on faith, my spirit. I prayed, and a lot of doors were shut. I didn't know it was going to take this leap that will happen, and there's more to come. And so to answer that question, I would say no, I had no idea, but I had to step out on faith. But the parting answers, I would like to say, not answers, but statement. Just do what God has called you to do. Be responsible for what He's given you. People are going to dislike you regardless. If you've messed up, get up, change it. And if you're trying to find your gifts, start to get in the face of God. Start to really write down, do the work, find out what you're really passionate about, and you'll start being used by God. Yeah. Used of God. And so I just tell people to just do that and take that leap of faith, because anybody that's done anything important had to take a leap of faith, and it did not feel good. Yeah. This did not feel good at all, but it's starting to feel better because I'm starting to see things manifest. But if we had this conversation 4 months ago, Carl, I'd have said, nope, I'm not doing it, because there's certain things I had to do to move around that I didn't want to do, and I had to do them, but it's starting to manifest right now. Yeah, I didn't even realize that you were no longer in Tulsa. Yeah, and I didn't want to put it on Facebook like people on there, they put on their timeline, I'm gone, y'all. See y'all later. and because it was so difficult for me to do it, and I'm still connected emotionally and spiritually to a lot of kids and a lot of people there. And then some kids, actually, that's funny you say that, one of my students inboxed me and said, "You're gone?" And I could just hear the pain in her voice on the inbox saying, "Are you gone?" I was like, "Yes, darling, I'm gone, but I'm come back and see you graduate." And she said, "Okay, I just need to send it to address." And so I didn't want I felt like if I heard that enough, I was already hurting because my daughters are still there. Yeah. And also some friends. And so to make that decision, I didn't want any people to just bombard me because I probably would have turned around. I said, no, I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really just commend what you're doing. And the young people need us right now. The climate that we're living in right now, with suicide being really high for young people and gun violence and people going in and doing mass shootings, people are really hurting. And so I think you being very transparent with what you've been through and being willing to share that with others it's a brave thing, and it's just really, really needed. So I commend you for that. And I thank you for that. I hope we can have you on the show again. This is the first season. I'm still like getting my feelers out there and trying to figure out like what it is that I want to like really, really focus on. But I appreciate you coming in and spending time with me today and taking time out of your schedule, because I know you're busy. So I just want to thank you so much, Mario.
Oh, no problem. You're doing a great job. I watch the shows every week. You get down to it. I like what you guys talk about. And so, I had to be a part of this thing. Come on now.
Okay. Awesome. We have just one more comment from Marilyn, and she says, your testimony speaks volumes, Mario. I applaud you. Continue to be transparent. It's the grounds God uses to change souls. Keeps speaking, sir.
Well, I thank you. And if you know somebody that want to pay me, Marilyn, you can let me know. I'll come out there and speak and get the money and let God use me at the same time. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing against that. So, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Like sometimes you got to get paid for your gifts, right? So I get it, Mario. I get it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I want to thank everybody for joining in today on the Carla Palmer Show. We'll be back next week for our final episode of this season. This was episode 9. Next week is episode 10. And I hope that you will join us. And then we'll pick back up, a few weeks after that. But join us next week for episode 10. I've got a special treat in store for you guys, and I'll make the announcement. If you follow me, make sure you like the Carla Palmer Show page so that you can get the notifications and see who's coming on next. And I will see you next week. Mario, thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for having me, Carla.
Bye, you guys. Bye, everyone. Thanks again. Bye-bye.